Hey, what's going on, guys? I want to do a video on pipe tools and what their purpose is, how to use them, okay? The reason this video kind of came up, I was planning on doing some pipe related videos eventually anyway, but I recently reviewed the Zycar pipe lighter and I showed that it has a pipe tool on the bottom. And a lot of people wanted to know what its purpose was, how to use it, what's it for, that kind of a thing. So I have a pipe here just for demonstration purposes. This is the pipe that I got in that kit for Christmas. And to me, it's still a no-name pipe. There is a maker's mark on here, right there, but I really just cannot find any information on it at all, other than it's a smooth straight pipe. Okay, straight pipe being the fact that it's straight and there's no bends in it, and that the finish is smooth, as opposed to rusticated or sandblasted or anything like that. I will have a separate video in the future about pipes in general, and different finishes and styles and all that kind of stuff. But this video is just on the pipe tool. All right. So there's many different, types of pipe tools, but they all serve the same purpose. All right. Here's one version is the one that's in the lighter there, okay, which is fully removable. And here's another version right here. This is a very common version, you'll see, and it's all three tools, each one being a separate tool, but all on the same kind of ring, and they rotate around this brass pivot here. All right, and here's a third style, and you can see these in stainless or in wood, and they have the same three tools. All right, you just pull these two out, and these tend to be, along the same lines as a cheap slip joint. Still keep that in mind. These are never of great quality, but anyway, there we go. And I've seen this one too with wood scales, and obviously it looks kind of like a pipe. It's the design there. But anyway, you see all these tools basically have three functions, okay? They all have a tamper, which is these flat things on the end, all right? And that's basically a flat, rounded piece, and that is for tamping. Now, what is tamping? I'll use this one for demonstration purposes. Tamping is when you have your bowl full of tobacco. Okay, as you're smoking it, you want to press the tobacco down to compress it. Okay, why? What is the purpose of that? Well, that's why I have a piece of paper here so I can draw you a picture. Let's just say, do a crude drawing here. These are two pipe bowls, okay? We're looking at this. This is the bowl of the pipe. And it's called a bowl because it's shaped kind of like a bowl. It's round, it's hollow in the middle so you can put stuff in it, all right? I.e. your tobacco. So I'll just give you a better visual. Let's just say here's the pipe itself. All right, so we have two versions of pipe here. Now let's pretend that this is see-through. Okay, so we could see through it. Now on this bowl on the right, you have a bunch of tobacco in here. Okay, it's halfway filled with tobacco, right? But you see how this, I'm filling this in pretty dense. All the tobacco is pushed down pretty good on this, all right? Now as you're smoking, especially on your first light, the tobacco wants to expand up a little bit and move around a little bit, okay? So it's no longer gonna be compressed like this. You may have a chunk, and this is gonna be a different version of this on the left-hand side. You may have a chunk of tobacco that's here, and then a little bit moved over, and there's a chunk of the tobacco over here, and then maybe it's just kind of loose over here. So as you're smoking the pipe, all right, the tobacco moves around a little bit. Now, on this side, on the right-hand side, the tobacco's all touching each other. All right, so once you light it, the flame comes in. All right, there's your flame. It is a very crude drawing. Flame comes in, lights the top layer. Okay, so here's the top layer of tobacco. Now this created a nice, strong ember. All right, it's lit. When you look in, at the end of a cigarette or the end of a cigar or the top of a pipe in the bowl, you'll see the red. The red is an ember, okay? We know this from, any kind of interest in survival stuff, right? It's actually some kind of material that's burning, okay? And it holds lit, it stays hot. All right, now if you have a nice packed bowl, okay, let's fill this in with tobacco. If that ember is touching your tobacco, okay, it's gonna continuously burn down. As you suck in and breathe in, all right, pulling air inwards, which is pulling smoke through the tobacco and into your mouth, you're also pulling that ember down into the fresh tobacco, okay? And it's because it's touching and it's compressed nice and altogether like, it's going to relight and continuously burn the rest of the tobacco. But if you have air pockets in here, all right, let's say here is our ember, all right, because it's not directly touching the tobacco, it's not going to burn it, so your pipe goes out. It's very, very common, and someone who doesn't know about tamping or doesn't use a pipe tool, you just buy a pipe, put tobacco in it, and light it, you'll have problems. You'll have your pipe go out quite frequently, and you don't understand why. And this is why. Okay, when you're tamping down, what you're doing is you're pushing all the loose tobacco down together so it's compressed. And if you keep it compressed, all right, you'll be able to have that ember continuously burn the rest of your tobacco. Since I've just tried a couple different pipe tobaccos and, kind of getting used to smoking a pipe. When I first started, the pipe went out a lot. Now I can smoke an entire pipe on 2 lights. Now usually the first light is your charring light, just kind of like a cigar, okay? A lot of times with a cigar, you'll take your lighter or your match and you'll kind of char the edge of the tobacco before you actually light it. It kind of preps it. It dries out the end and just kind of gets it ready. It's called toasting, is a term for it. And it's really no different with the pipe tobacco. That first light isn't really the sustaining light for the pipe. It's basically just to dry out that top layer to get the tobacco to, expand to whatever point it's going to and so forth and char the top layer. All right, and that's going to go out. It's not going to stay lit very easily. It's your second light that really kind of gets the pipe going. But as you're smoking, in the middle of your smoke, just every now and then, you don't have to do it religiously, you don't have to do it often, but every now and then, you take your pipe tool, you take your tamper, and you tamp down the tobacco just by pushing down and just kind of going in a circle and basically just compressing it. You want all the tobacco in the bowl to be touching that ember that's on top. Okay, and as that ember sits on top, it will continuously burn down and down and down until you have no tobacco left. All right, and then you're done with your bowl. So that's basically how that works. That is your tamper. Okay, so that leaves us with 2 more tools. One tool is the aerator or poker. And basically it's a narrow tool and it's exactly as it's, what it suggests on this pipe tool. Here it is. Okay, you could see it's just a very narrow, long, skinny piece. And of course the end is on this. By the way, someone did mention that this being a flathead, totally unrelated to this video, but if you watch the lighter review, you can also use this as your flathead screwdriver, okay, to adjust your flame on that. So that was a good little point which I missed in the review. So anyway, our aerator is to do just that. If you pack your pipe and it's too tight and you go to draw, and by draw I mean, suck in through the mouthpiece to, get smoke in your mouth, if it's too tight, it's not going to allow that to work, okay? And with all fire, you do need air. So if you really pack your pipe too tight, it's also going to go out. So in that case, you can take your poker, or aerator and basically just poke holes or use it to move around your tobacco a little bit just to aerate it, okay? It's always going to be a compromise. You don't want it too tight, you don't want it too loose. So it's somewhere in the middle. So if you didn't pack your bowl, perfectly, this is where your pipe tool comes in handy. All right? If you pack your bowl perfectly and you kind of get used to packing your bowl, you won't use this as much. You still will tamp occasionally just to keep it going, but generally you won't use the aerator. In fact, I've never used it yet. And then the last tool is our scraper, okay, or spoon. And a lot of times it is somewhat spoon shaped. Okay, on this one it's a different shape and it's more of like a flat, if you ever seen a doctor's knife on a slip joint, they have a tool just like this, okay, and that was actually a tongue depressor. But in this case, this is our scraper, and that is just how it sounds. It's used to scrape out the remaining burnt tobacco when you clean your pipe at the end of your smoke. Now, when you do smoke a pipe, you want to create a cake, and this is for a separate video, but basically, as you burn tobacco, it will form a black layer on the inside of your pipe. That's something you do want. So when you scrape your pipe, you don't want to dig in real deep. You just want a nice light scrape just to get any of that nasty, old tar built up tobacco out. Okay, so next time you smoke, you have a fresh bowl. All right, so those are the 3 tools on your pipe tool. Now you could have a pipe tool like this. This is probably the most common one you can find. All right, this one I believe is made in the Czech Republic. Let's see, made in, Czech Republic. These things are like $3. All right, and then you get all 3 tools here. They're each individual tool connected together around this ring. All right, very convenient, very affordable. Something like this is a little bit more like $7 or $8, and it's more like a pocket knife style. All right, and same deal, you have your tamper on the bottom here. All right, and as I showed before, you have your scraper, and you also have your poker or aerator. All right, now something like this, where it's basically one tool, but all three functions, whereas one end is your poker and your scraper together, and then the other end is just your tamper. So it comes in all forms. There's lots of them out there. There's some really fancy ones that actually have, you know, there's a piece of briar that's used. You know, it's kind of an upscale one. Those can go anywhere from 30 or 40 bucks a piece. But, you know, they serve the purpose of just tamping, okay? And then something like that where you get really fancy, perhaps you'll have an individual tool for each one. But I guarantee most pipe smokers you run into will have this exact tool. All right, very affordable, like I said, $2 or $3, and serves a great purpose. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about the pipe tool. That's how it works. It's three functions. The whole idea here is you want to, you know, have your ember that's lit contact the tobacco at all times throughout smoking the pipe, and you'll never have a problem. It won't go out. That's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.